another episode of the Unruly Hour with Uphill Media. Tonight I have my BFF slash co-writer, Pat Cote. Um, so I announced last week that we're going to be doing a this week's news every Thursday. So the two of us will just join and talk about everything that's happened this week or what it reminds us of, things like that. And, the convention's going on now. So, of course, there's, tons of stuff to talk about. Um, but we were getting some questions today about something we did this afternoon. So we're just going to touch on it um, really quickly. And no, we didn't get married or anything like that. It wasn't like that.
I'm
It
having
was,
Joy's baby.
yeah, he is. He's 50 and a dude, and we've never met in person, which makes it just incredibly
Immaculate.
immaculate. It's the power of being burners. It's pretty amazing. Um, so this afternoon, some of you guys do know, Miss freaking Nina Turner had Pat and I on her Hello Somebody podcast. Um, and it was basically as incredible as we thought it was going to be. She's mad chill. I've met her a bunch of times, but I'm used to being on this side of the interviews, and kind of, having the control of what I want to say and stuff. And I was nervous, like, oh my God, she could say anything. What if she asked something and I don't know, or I said something really stupid, like even more so than usual? So it went really well. She absolutely loves our book. We give her a copy, obviously, so she'd have it when she interviewed us. Um, and we just had a great conversation, not just about the book, but for things that are going on currently as well. But she also, got a little nostalgic about you know being on the campaign trails and things like that. And so it was kind of reminiscing about some things. And she said, I needed this right now. And that's Pat and I, we always say it's full of laughs, but it's also been so incredibly cathartic, to be able to just, you know, um, try and heal from all the pain we're in and we've gone through the past 5 years. Um, Pat, and we don't have an official date it's going to air, but we'll, I'm sure share it 8 trillion times when it does.
We're not going to be shy
So
about letting people know when that comes out. That's for sure.
we'll probably just like literally door knock.
Right.
Like, excuse
Print
me,
some
I know it's
flyers.
COVID, but do you know whose show we were on?
Yeah.
Um, what did you take away from our interview, Pat?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's completely surreal having Nina Turner asking you questions as someone that covers politics, because it's just weird having her as the person directing the forum or the interview. But she's totally just a great, humble, fun person, super positive. She's got one of those laughs that just makes you happy, and she really does miss the trail. She you know when she says that she gets more energy from us than we get from her, it's kind of a mutual thing, and it really is kind of a both way street. I mean, she worked her tail off, and starting in 2013, she's been, our revolution is all her, really. I mean, it's a lot of other people, but she traveled around like a lunatic, getting things up and running everywhere. Um, so yeah, I mean, amazing experience talking to her. Just love her to death.
our campaign, especially in 2020, would not have been even half as successful if Nina wasn't in it. And I'm perfectly comfortable saying that. The way she hustled, the way she brought so many people. I mean, I've been to 17 Bernie rallies, and when I tell you that people were just as excited to see her every time, I am not kidding. That is the truth. Um, she did so much for our campaign, and you know what? Let's keep it real. We wish that some of her sass would have rubbed off on Bernie, because he is very like, you know, he's very much more Joe Biden's my friend, and Nina's like, look, he's a half a bowl of shit. So
Even us, when we heard that, we're like, did Nina really say that? Yeah, Nina really said that. That's Nina Turner.
I had to Google it because I was like, yo, if I put this out here that she said this, she may tell us she doesn't want us on the show
Right.
anymore, and I would understand. So I searched it, and I was just like, because she usually doesn't curse. I mean, we learned today she does behind the scenes, but um, yeah, I mean, I she is brave. She is absolutely brave. But I think that she realizes that people are going to go at her whether she says, I don't like Joe Biden, or Joe Biden is half a bowl of shit. They will go at her the same amount. And that's what Bernie never understood.
I think
He's
that was the war.
for everything, regardless.
Right. That was the internal war. I think you had two camps on the Bernie side. One trying to placate the establishment, one saying you're never going to placate the establishment. Stop trying. Don't play the media's games. Uh, Call them out fiercely. And that camp I think lost. I think if the people fighting to call out if the David Sirotas ruled the campaign and the Ninas ruled the campaign, you know, there's still all the election fuckery and all the shenanigans they're going to pull, but we would have done better, I think.
I would have said Dave Sirota's about a month or two ago, but some of his posts now, he's just turning into such a shit lib. And it's heartbreaking because I've followed him for so many years. And yeah, he was one of the ones that just went hard all the time. But some of his posts are just very, very centrist. And can't we all just get along? We still have to vote. We still have to vote blue. Like,
Well,
not
there's still, well, he was a reporter during, all the stuff going on in 2016. So he's well aware of the backlash that all the Bernie people got and the blame they got for years. And that rubs off on people. I mean, you kind of have election PTSD in a sense that, I understand the inclination to not want to get blamed again. And I think that's something people inside the campaign feel. And that's, Bernie especially. I'm not saying that's the right position, but I think it's born from a lot of that.
well, absolutely. And I've interviewed plenty of people on the campaign. I've met people on the campaign from across the country when I went to state. And you know, anyone will tell you that the Bernie is it's exactly that. Bernie just doesn't want to even his own family told me this. Let's put it this way. Bernie is loyal to a fault. Period. We watched Warren shit on him time and time again. He puts his arm on her back, makes me want to punch a wall. Um, Weaver, he's worked with for 43 years. He did him dirty yet again. Um, and it's so frustrating because if Bernie was half the grump that people think he is, he it would have been a different campaign. But back to what you're saying as well, he is in a situation that no one in the entire universe has ever been in except himself. In 2016, we all said he should. But it was a situation we would never be in, ever. No, even if we tried. Um, and yes, he still feels guilty for a lot of it. He shouldn't, but as a human being who actually does care about people, he, I mean, that's how he is. And I think he even said in an interview, he was scared to run again because he was so scared of the pressure on himself that if Trump won again, the guilt and pressure that he would feel. Like, there is no one else who has even half of that pressure than that man. So he pisses me off a lot, but I do feel for him in that sense because we get it bad online and stuff, but that man, I mean, the last time I met Jane, I had a private conversation with her and she said, this is Jane Sanders. She said, you know, we may not like all of everyone's posts or comment to everyone's posts, but she said, we see them. She said, you have no idea the messages and emails and things people say to us. You cannot even fathom. And she started getting tears in her eyes. And it broke my freaking heart because here we are being told like we are garbage, we're Bernie Bros, we're awful people, and they don't even come out and say, look, you guys should see these threats I'm getting. And it was just really hard to watch Jane's face when she shared that with me. And so we don't know what they're going through. And Bernie wrestles with this shit every day. If we didn't have COVID, Bernie wouldn't have dropped. Bernie dropped because he was sick of seeing people going to the polls and getting COVID because Joe was telling them to still go and not signing on to his legislation to postpone all the damn primaries. Being a better person hurt Bernie this time. It did.
Yep, but I don't want to look back anymore than anyone else does. I mean, really, we have to look forward to where do we go from here instead of waiting for him to come around and lead again or something. The people constantly looking at his actions, they're wasting their time. I mean, he's gonna try to bring progressives over to Biden until the election's over. He'll return to himself, once we have a president again. But until then, he's on Team Joe. It's just the bottom line.
Yeah, and I think that, that we expected. He signed the stupid ass unity paper or whatever the hell it was. But what hurts is that he didn't use his leverage.
100%.
That's what bothers
He
me.
gave up all of his
Because
leverage.
Unity Task Force, nah, bitch, I'm dropping out. You're giving me a place in the cabinet. That's what you're doing. If you're not giving me something tangible, you're giving me Medicare for all. This is what you're doing if you really want me to do this. But he didn't. He was so worried about COVID. He said Unity Task Force. And then he did it. What the balls is a Unity Task Force? What are they doing?
I mean, all they
Nothing.
do is vote on non-binding resolutions to the platform, which
Yeah.
you can't even get them to put a Medicare for all on a non-binding resolution to add to the platform. Yeah, and then they recently just took out the language saying that they were going to no longer subsidize fossil fuels. So that's gone.
Yep.
So
I mean, I have no hope.
Well, this is a depressing show.
I
We had
know,
the best day earlier talking to Nina,
I
and now
know.
we're all depressed.
Nina's so positive, and she was said she laughed so much at our book, and now here I am.
I think we
I
ran
have
out of
no.
our endorphins.
Was that?
We ran out of endorphins or something, where our
Yeah.
serotonin levels are low.
Well, I was popping out of him like crazy because I've never been that nervous before a show. Um, but yeah, I mean, there. I think you know and what I also said to Nina earlier. The you know social media really is a different animal. It's like it's amazing because you can vent and you meet people you would never meet in a million years anywhere else, and they help keep you somewhat sane. But then you do go into and meet a lot of ugliness. I mean, it comes along with it. Um, so unfortunately, more and more we're seeing a lot of the downside of the undemocratic party and what's going on. We saw Pelosi's in the news every day, or in our book we call her Nancy Pelosi, but she endorsed Kennedy. Surprising? Fuck no, of course not. Of course not. She refers to it as the green new whatever it is. I mean, she has no interest.
Right. I mean, really, they're trying to make a point about where the party's going by backing Kennedy instead of Markey. I mean, it's kind of ironic. He had, and I mean, I think most people know he's kind of the architect of the Green New Deal, Ed Markey. So,
Hmm.
um, but he's an incumbent, and if you remember, not that long ago, the DCC got caught telling everybody that consultants that work with candidates trying to challenge incumbent Democrats are blacklisted. So that's the message internally, and then Nancy Pelosi comes out and backs a challenger to an incumbent seat. And a hugely popular. I mean, Markey's going to still win this thing, but it's going to be a fight. But I think Markey's going to win it. Um, but yeah, I mean, Kennedy isn't popular. Kennedy's very unpopular.
He has his name.
That's it.
He has his good looks. People say I don't know about that, but people say
But
that.
they gave him a speaking gig at one of the State of the Union deals. The Democrats. That's where he had the little the mouth
Chapstick.
cream, whatever you want to call that, going on. Um, but by all standards, he did a terrible job, and they announced that he's the next Democratic rising star. Like, oh, we worship this guy; he's so great. Meanwhile, he's got this fuzz in his face, and most people don't really think he did a great job. But that's the sign of where the party's going, because you wouldn't have that gig if you're a progressive. They're not going to let real progressives take that spot. Yeah, that's why when Abrams had that spot, you're like, huh, I wonder why they gave it to Abrams. And then she goes and works for Cap. So
And Bloomberg.
yeah, so you have to look into what their motivation is for these things. Who's backing someone? When Pelosi backs you, it's not a good sign. When you're given the speaker's position at the State of the Union thing, not a good sign.
Well, here's the crazy thing though. My girl's Rashida. I met her when I was on the campaign trail in Iowa. How in the fuck is Pelosi gonna endorse Rashida? I almost fell on my ass.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either.
Because Rashida, say what you want. Don't come at me. Rashida's the most badass. She just says whatever she wants. She she's just hardcore, and she was one of the most sweet, amazing people I've ever met. And I'm honestly shocked that Pelosi did that. I feel like there had to have obviously been something in it for her. Um, Speaking of the squad, what about how AOC literally did her job, what she was supposed to do, which is nominate who she was a delegate for, and people are like, "Oh, you're so divisive. Oh my God, you're giving Trump."
Yeah, I mean, they're taking anything they can to attack any progressive is generally the move. I mean, it was great hearing that 1 minute speech that was uh, nominating Bernie, but it's just a process thing that happens every single election cycle. Everyone knew exactly what she was going to say before she said it. Um, no shocks there. So they found a way to create a story and give AOC some bad press for a few hours,
But
basically.
it's for everyone too. Like a lot of you guys know, I had Congressman Ro Khanna on my show 4 times. We do not see eye to eye on a whole lot of shit, but I was very happy he decided to vote against the platform. I was honestly surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised a few years ago, but I was surprised. And so anyway, so he voted against it, and his you know his comments just went bananas. It was like, "You're giving us Trump, how dare you, how," all this shit. And I'm like, "Oh my God, how many times, like, do you do you not comprehend? This is how there's delegates, this is how they vote, it's like, this is why we need some of that free education right there. This is why. You Since when are we voting for the general right now? Somebody tell me. I thought it was in 3 months, but apparently voting for Bernie right now counts as the general. Like, educate your damn selves.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fine if Joe Voter isn't tuned into all the process stuff, but that's where the news it's it's incumbent on the news to report these things correctly. Like MSNBC, or was it NBC? I don't know, but they ran with the story for like 4 hours before they corrected it and explained that this is a normal thing. They were attacking AOC for it. And so if you're just Joe idiot voter and you see that clickbait headline, you may never get the backstory. You may never get the correction. And but so it's you can't blame everybody for not following all the minutia, the process kind of thing. And a lot of people are tuning in for the first time because they're stuck at home and they're, why else would you watch a DNC convention? You're bored out of your skull. That's it. I
Oh
mean,
God, I this is why I've learned I could never be a real journalist, because I watched every freaking um debate, even ones that were 3 hours, every single town hall, what, like over 20 of them for over a year. And I sucked it up and I did it for you guys. The convention, you're on your own. I cannot fucking handle it. I can't even turn it on. I can't even
no,
watch Bernie. I can't, like, I feel dirty just thinking about it. Can't do it.
I'm right there with you. I've watched every single debate, every town hall, damn near everything. But running 5 day commercial or however long it is, no, I just can't. I mean, you got Kasich speaking, you got Colin Powell, you got Meg Whitman. I mean, you got these people with, you know, pretty legitimate chunks of time to speak, and then AOC gets 1 minute to do a nomination that gets her shit. The process nomination, and she gets trashed for it. So yeah, there's
We
nothing.
support women of color.
Yeah, so no, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll tune back in, but I haven't watched any of the coverage at all.
I did. A viewer sent me a clip of when Biden said "my husband." That was pretty awesome. His One of his flubs where he called Jill his husband. Um, So things like that are always exciting. Um, I I don't know. I'm so worried, but at the same time, it's a lot of it's out of our hands at this point. Um, I see JK Renee. Always nice to see you in the comments. Basically, the entire Democratic establishment is trash. Throw away the whole party. Time for the People's Party. On that note, I do have Mr. Nick Grana coming on my show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. He, of course, is the creator of the movement for a People's Party. So we will be discussing their upcoming convention on the 30th. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Um, that again is tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, then Tuesday, I have one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Mr. Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report, will be coming back to join me. And that'll be Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, Chelsea. So yeah. Oh, hi Franklin. I didn't see you there. And Amberly, these are just popping up now. And Maya, yeah, it'll be Maya. Do you live in a write-in state? Because I live in Pennsylvania and we are a write-in state. So I wrote Burning in 2016, and I I have no qualms doing it again. But I like the idea of writing Miss Nina in too. Yeah, Tina, that absolutely a lot of great progressives have won their primaries nationwide. Um, we definitely have some to celebrate. Um, Very disappointing Tuesday about Jen Perelman, but we knew that was going to be like really, really, really difficult. Um, so unfortunately, but she gave it a hell of a shot. And I like the fact that Debbie had a woman run against her, because I think that did like cost her some votes. Because I know Tim was hearing a lot like, I'm not going to vote against a woman. Um, so I think that did help in some ways, but um, the next big one we have is Pelosi. I think unfortunately she may have record turnout because people have the idea that if Trump stops the election and it could be her that takes over, or also if Biden wins and Kamala is the VP and Biden has his brain leakage, then Kamala moves up and Pelosi goes in her VP spot. Um,
Well,
that
it's if Biden wins, she's 100% going to take over midterm. They're not going to risk an election on her.
on Pelosi, you
No,
mean?
I mean on Kamala Harris becoming president. But I mean, she's not popular enough to win unless she's an incumbent. So she would have to move from VP to president during his term. So
That's a really great point. I mean, she didn't even get a single delegate. She was fourth in her own state. And when you're in California, she barely won her last election. I don't know. Why don't you guys put in the comments your thoughts as far as, do you think Trump will win or Biden will win. Because I have this dialogue with people, and you see stuff on Twitter which says, Kamala Biden landslide. That is incredibly dangerous. That what about the Hillary landslide? So that's really freaking dangerous. And the fact that people say that, um, yeah, does not. So and it also points out that they're not willing to do a damn thing to get these votes. Um, not sure when uh, vote shaming has ever worked to convince someone. Um, I don't think it ever has. Hey,
No,
Jilly Love.
we're going to have two of the most unpopular candidates ever by election day. That I can guarantee you. And 2016, they were both their respective worst, least liked candidates by their own party in history. Trump versus Clinton, and it's going to be worse by the time that we get three more months of you know debates and polarizing ads and wars online. They're both going to be so incredibly hated. There's so much stuff to come out about Biden that the public just was never privy to because the media didn't cover any of it. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be close no matter what happens. You've got, there's nothing people can learn about Trump that's new. You have your opinion on it. You're not going to suddenly say, hey, great. There's a lot of stuff people don't know about Biden. A lot of stuff.
And a lot of that's by choice. They don't want to know.
Well, they don't want to know, and that's working in his favor. And what's working in his favor also is obviously COVID. How terrible a situation are we in 3 months from now? And I keep telling everyone this. It's kind of obvious to most people, but Trump comes out tomorrow and says, hey, Medicare for all, or not Medicare for all, Trump care for all, my second term. He could win. Nobody, Democrats aren't going to believe it's going to happen, but that could get enough voters in a close race, especially when you hear all the negatives about Biden that you didn't know beforehand. So the race is always tight, and it's not going to be a blowout under any circumstances.
Yeah, Brent McKinney, hey buddy. Brent says it's a 50-50 coin flip, and honestly, that's how I feel. I don't think I'd be surprised either way. Um, and it's, what's going on with the USPS is atrocious for so many reasons, but we've been begging for things to change voting wise for 5 years. But as soon as, oh, Trump might cheat, we need to get on this now. You guys are right. Absolutely. Yes, having a Palestinian elected was huge. Absolutely. Um, Biden doesn't bring out the young voters. Absolutely. Charles Levitt said Howie will get his vote. Um, his VP Angela is amazing. I interviewed her, and check her out, you guys. She is so freaking awesome. If you're not, sure who to vote for, I know a lot of us aren't super thrilled about Howie, but his VP Angela is so incredible. And you can find my show with her on YouTube. Um, Marianne Williamson's tweets were amazing. Thanks for bringing those up, Jilly Love. They were so good. Pat and I were joking about them. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jilly Love. Yes, but I also saw the blocks behind Warren spelled BLM. And there was another one too that stood for some kind of like resistor phrase I never heard of. But someone is making memes from it and putting like patterns in the floor of like the Necronomicon and stuff.
Nice. That
Oh,
makes me want to fire up my Photoshop.
oh my god, yeah. And then there's this other guy who put like she's sitting on a rug that has circles on it, and somebody put like tantric sex positions in with oh my god. People like are just incredible. Um I put them both on my Twitter very recently. Um, yeah, Marianne is, sometimes she pisses me off because she did do a vote shaming post. I don't think she like really understood in a way, but um, some of her posts are just, I really do love her. And it makes me so mad that like how bad she got cheated off of the debate stage and stuff because she was fascinating to listen to. And I always had this thing like, you know, I would never vote for someone who's never done a day in politics. But then the more I started listening to her, I was like, she's different though. Like if Bernie wins and he put her in his cabinet somehow, I think I'd be okay with it. Um,
I always felt like she was honest. Like, even when they asked her and she critiqued Medicare for all, she went at it in the way somebody that really wasn't sure about it would go at it. It wasn't it wasn't motivated by political consultants. So I believed her critique of it, and she eventually came to our side on Medicare for all. But um, I don't know. I like her as a person. I mean, I can't back the crystal stuff, but I don't have to talk about that.
um, Charles Lovett, he says, I'm sick of my Southern Black Democrats who are so in the tank for corporate Democrats. I hammer them unapologetically with policies, history, and which oligarchs own their establishment Dems too. Um, yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's frustrating to watch people who are intelligent just not like either refuse to get it or not refuse to even try.
Well, that's the Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
You just can't talk about anything else other than going after Trump.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It could really a million things could happen. It's been essentially like an SATs ever since 2019 started. How many people join? How many drop out? This person could go with this person. I am very happy that something. I'm not sure if I really thought it was going to happen or if I was just so deathly scared it was going to happen. But from day one, for over a year, I was like, Hillary's getting in this shit. She's getting in it. Somehow she is getting in it. Because the thought of her letting another woman be the first is mind-boggling to me. And I think the only reason she's okay with it, or not even okay with it, but putting up with it, is because Kamala is a woman of color. So I think she can say, kind of rationalize in her head, well, I would still be the first white woman. or something like that. But man, I just, it's gotta hurt for her, and I love that.
You got to take the simple joys in life.
Yeah.
I was never really worried about her jumping in, but I understand why people, it's a PTSD in a sense from her. Just she's like Chucky that won't go away.
Absolutely. Yes, it's uh yeah, um she keeps coming out every day with new interviews and stuff like that. And now that picture's going around of Bill, getting that massage, and oh my god, so gross. Um so it's definitely never dull. Um, what else have you? Oh, Pat, you're in California. Why don't you touch on what's going on? I know you have some friends who are kind of being affected.
Yeah, they've got lots of evacuations. There's something like 500 fires around. I think 30 large fires burning all at once right now across the state. And I just read an article on the Atlantic that they scientists, I don't know, but they said that something like 500%. These fires are 500% more intense now due to global warming. Um, which so if that's true, and we're removing the subsidies, we refuse to, as Democrats, to have on the platform that we're going to remove subsidizing fossil fuel industries. I mean, what are we doing? This is California, the most delegates in the whole. I mean, sure, it's going to go to Biden, but like, I guess that's why we just take it for granted. The Democrats just take it for granted that they're going to get these delegates, but our whole state's on fire, and we're not going to do anything about global warming. And Pelosi is backing the guy that basically wrote the Green New Deal. I mean, backing the opponent of the guy who wrote the Green New Deal. I mean, where are the values in the party? It's just a mess.
Absolutely. And it so much of it comes back to selfishness, because if you look at someone like Nancy Pelosi, she lives on like 82 acres of land, so she's like, fuck it, I have no trees that are going to catch on fire. Oh well. um which is just so disgusting. And this is why the conceptually it was really utopian to think, yeah, we can change things from within the party. Nah, we gotta elect all new people. That's what it comes down to. What do you think about term limits? This is something that I've been speaking to quite a number of candidates about.
Well, I used to be against them. I mean, term limits. I know it's a popular position to be for term limits, but I don't know where the answer really lies. I mean, in a way, like we have to we have to find a way to limit the period of elections more than anything. Like, I don't have a problem with somebody being good at their job and a true public servant and gaining knowledge and staying in office for 4 or 6 consecutive terms. But if half of that time is spent campaigning for an election, they're not of value anymore, and they're corrupted by the end of the process. So you need to get money out of politics. You need to make sure the campaigns are short. Um, elections all happen on the same day across the country. Uh, I don't know. We could have this debate at some other time. I wasn't really prepared to talk to you about it, but I mean, in general, I don't think term limits is the answer. Still, I mean, I'm more for it than I used to be, but you just need to eliminate the need to raise so much money to win your position again. Once you get rid of that, it's okay if someone is on the job several times in a row. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I used to be kind of a lot more like, I guess I was more concerned with, well, what about Bernie? You know what I mean? Like one of the only people we have that like actually, supports the platform we do. And also like what if term limits are up and left leaning Dems get replaced by Republicans? Like, I mean, it's kind of it really could go either way, and it would be a case by case. But when it comes to me, it's more the Supreme Court. Those fuckers have been in there for 800 years.
Yeah, we absolutely have to change how the Supreme Court works. We need rotating judges on a more rotating judges, 7-year term or something. This lifetime appointment crap is just not serving anyone.
Oh. Oh, Maya would like to hear a little more about our new book. So, um, to check out, the characters and, um, a little bit of background, you can go to savageandpat.com. Um, if you haven't bought it yet and you'd like to, you can enter code NINA, NINA, and um, that'll give you $2 off. And we're also doing something where you can, when you check out, it'll ask you to select either Pat or myself um, to sign the book. So you can pick one of us and tell us whatever you want to write, which is getting very interesting. But we don't get offended easily, so it's all good. Um, they are being printed right now, Amazon free. So as soon as we get them, they will be shipped out. But yeah, savageandpat.com. Some of our characters, we have a lot of characters, but some of our main ones are Joyanne Greed, Chris Badviews, Soledad Lion, Alyssa Shilano, Nancy Pagosi, Jennifer Poopin, Nira Tantrum, um, Tom Perez, uh, James Scarville, Nina Burner.
Yeah.
We gotta have a good one in there. um, Yeah, I mean, that's something I've been talking, Maya. That's something I've been talking to Mike Figueredo a lot about, and he's coming on my show back on Tuesday. Um, and thank you. And that's one of the things we're going to discuss is electoral politics. What the hell is the point now? Like seriously, what the hell is the point? There's so many of us marching in the streets. That has gotten more done than any electoral politics. And it's frankly infuriating when you see people talking about Black Lives Matter and you see people in the comment section like, vote. Okay, cool. Now what? What the hell does that do? What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for more action in the streets. I mean, what's the movement this week at Occupy Congress? Uh, Started by United Left, which United Left is sort of like, I think of them as movement for a people's party without necessarily the party side of it. They're just getting people together for actions and, trying to unify progressive people. But I think they're the group that started it. But basically, you can go online and sign and check your area and find, they'll notify you where to go, what time people are meeting, and basically they're just going to Congress people's houses or senators' houses and to their lawns, and as close as they can get to them in person, and being disruptive and making some noise. So, until these people that aren't serving us feel our presence a lot, I don't think anything is going to change. So I support as much of that as we can. I mean, I think that's our route now. Electoral politics, we're stuck with who we got. I mean, let's get some progressives in where we can, but we don't have the votes to get progressive policy in place without seriously changing the situation.
And I do see some comments about like there's no one really good to vote for, and yeah. But Monday I did interview a presidential candidate who is the independent running. His name is Mark Charles. He is native, and he is very educated and passionate about his indigenous roots. We had an incredible conversation. He is he's been running a little over a year. He has gotten on the ballot in several states, and he will be on a write-in on the ballot in over 40 states. Um, so check him out. You can find my video with him on was Monday. But he had some really great things to say, and people really liked him. He's not getting nearly as much publicity as he should be. Um, so I mean, that's another point I talked about on another show, Charles, and you know, it's it's going to be crazy if Biden wins. I do mean if, to see all these people who say, I can't wait to go back to sleep, go back to the way things used to be. Um, it's going to be sad to see if they start leaving the streets then. It's going to be infuriating if they do. It kind of seems like if Biden wins, we should actually get out in the streets more, just to show people that we're not going to be placated. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason there's hope that people will stay in the streets, and it's sad, but I mean, a lot of people can't go back. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their health care coverage. They've lost the issues we need, the things that matter that we need to be fighting for. I mean, the climate change, Green New Deal, climate crisis is still here. It's not, just because Biden wins doesn't mean anything, So, I mean, all these people without health care, all these people without jobs, I think people will stay in the streets more than we expect. And part of that is that things are going to be a lot worse by election day, no matter who wins. So in a weird sense, that gives me hope. The depressing state of the world gives me hope because it's going to be more depressing. So, yeah.
Let me see. Gretel. Mark Charles, the independent presidential candidate I had Monday. He has the so-called typical progressive platform. He was a very big Bernie supporter. He has, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, but he also expands on things from an indigenous perspective. But he just had a lot of interesting points, and actually quite a number of things I've never heard anybody say that made so much sense. So I would definitely check him out. I think he's pretty incredible, and I love the idea that an indigenous activist would be president. That's incredible. We did even talk about things like, Elizabeth Warren and her claiming to be, you know, Cherokee, and he is Cherokee. Um, but
I didn't even see this, but they did have her speak at the. Did you see that at the
we
DNC?
talked about it. He was there too, and she got the coverage.
That's just insane.
Yeah, he was there too, but she got the praise. The person who not only lied and ignored Standing Rock and, insulted countless people, and here's a man who literally is indigenous and like it's his life. And yeah, so he told me about that, and I was just like, wow, that's really gross. Like, they have no shame. Um, So, Gretel, you said something I wasn't going to talk about, but you said it. Pat, don't kill me. Because if people see it in the comments, I don't want people to be like, ooh, we can and you should. So, Gretel said that we should have some kind of celebration for a book party premiere.
Genius idea. Yeah, we
I
have
can
one.
tell her, I freaking swear.
I think we leaked that we were going to do it, but on the 5th we're going to do a. We've got a bunch of comedians, musicians. We got, you know, it's going to be a fun night. That's the idea is step away from politics a little bit, have a laugh. I mean, it's all going to be political parody, music, but it's also going to be a way for us to promote the book. But we're just going to have a fun few hours online, and we're going to cover a lot of it live. And
But we're not giving any guests yet. Like, you guys are gonna have to just wait. Sorry, Gretel. But yeah, comedians, musicians, and some other stuff. But yeah, the 5th of September, we're really excited about it. We've been working on it a bit, so yes. So thanks for putting me on the spot, Gretel. I didn't even tell her about that. We hang out too much. That's what that is. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Um, and you guys are amazing as always. A reminder, tomorrow night I am having Nick Brana from um, Movement for a People's Party tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night, I'm having Mike Figueredo from Humanist Report at 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, our book is savageandpat.com, and uh, code Nina is $2 off, and we'll post the hell out of our show with Nina today when we get it. And what else am I missing, Pat? Oh, my Patreon. You can subscribe for as little as $3 a month. I am so desperately in need of new equipment. You guys have no idea. Oh my God. And if you don't want to sign up monthly through Patreon, they I have a Venmo. It's all on the bottom here. But yeah, just a heads up, when people put um donations in this chat, it goes to Uphill Media, which is totally fine. But a lot of times people think they go to me. So I just wanted to make that ticker tape thing so people knew that it doesn't. But thank you guys so much for watching. Pat, what do you want to leave our beautiful people with?
uh, be more optimistic than I am right now. The world's not terrible. We'll keep fighting. Get outside, go to a park. You know, I'm gonna try to do that more.
With a mask.
Yes,
And
wear your masks.
If all else fails, we have each other.
Amen.
It's true. It's true. Um, Now, I was going to make a joke and I forgot it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I took several Ativan before Nina interviewed us, and I think it's like, as you can tell, I think I'm like a little like, yeah. I might end up not sharing this show.
All right. See you, Joy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I love you guys.